Holly, and I'm back with our demonstration garden in a box, and I'm going to show you how to prune a tomato. So this tomato definitely needs to be in a cage or propped up somehow pretty soon. So I'm going to bring in some chicken wire to help with that pretty soon. But this is pretty obviously a really chaotic plant, and really soon a lot of this is going to be gone. So I start pruning tomatoes down at the very base of it. And so this is your main stem, and this is what you want to be really careful to protect. These are the leaves. You can trim off most of these leaf branches up to the first fruiting body, and that looks like it's about right here. So I'm going to trim that leaf branch off, and then this coming out of the side here is what we're going to call a sucker. And that actually has the ability to pretty much become its own producing tomato plant. But for the sake of putting all of the energy upwards and making sure that the tomato is growing up instead of into a big bush that's gonna get in the way of all of our other plants, I'm gonna cut that one off too. And these are, you can compost these or toss them. And then I'm just gonna go and do the same thing on the other side. And you can use scissors as well if you don't have pruners, that's totally okay. So this is another one, and I'm going to cut off the leafing branch here and the sucker right there. We're just kind of thinning as much as we can. This is another sucker, and it's way down here at the base, so that's totally fine. Don't be afraid to cut that off also. And then when I get to about right here, I know the fruiting branch is here, but I'm probably going to leave this leaf still, just for some extra foliage. And then I'm going to cut off that sucker. And a good way to tell whether it's a sucker is if it has a leaf right beneath it. So the suckers are pretty much always going to be right above. So you follow your main stem up, just to be careful that you're going to trace that upwards so that you don't accidentally cut the main stem, and then cut that sucker off. This is a sucker over here on the other side. This is a little baby sucker right here, so I'm going to cut that off. Here's our first fruiting branch. You can already see some little baby tomatoes and flowers. And then this, it kind of does an angle here, and you can prevent that by caging it a little bit earlier or stringing it up a little bit earlier, but that's what we're working with today. So I'm going to cut that one off, and then way up here, this is the top of your plant. So a pretty common mistake is cutting this off, and that's definitely not what you want to do. But if you do accidentally do that, feel free to train one of these suckers upwards in your tomato cage. It happens sometimes if you accidentally top your plant training these little suckers, and so not cutting them and rather like kind of keeping them in your cage will help you have more fruit during the season. So that's a sucker that I'm going to cut off. And that's the very top. So eventually we're gonna have some chicken wire around it to keep it nice and vertical, and that's gonna help support the plant. Otherwise, we can definitely have breakages that are gonna decrease the amount of fruit and health of the plant overall. But we have lots of great foliage here. And as you can see, our lettuce that I cut and harvested last week has regrown. So that's awesome, and it's ready for another harvest whenever we're ready for it. Thank you.